on farmers' situation in India. As colleagues might know that hundreds and thousands of farmers, they are striking in India. There's a whole movement going on, and it's basically started in September last year when the Modi government, the right-wing Modi government, passed 3 reactionary agriculture bills in the parliament. And immediately after that, farmers went on protest, and the protest erupted in about 10,000 locations that involved 15 million farmers that revolted against the bills. And these protests happened from Punjab to Bengal and Bihar to Tamil Nadu. So in fact, the whole country and a lot of cities, all these protests happened. And the most substantial protests happened in the agricultural states of Punjab and Haryana. These are the bread-winning states in India. And also we see protests in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh at the moment. And solidarity protests were also happened in different places across India by organizations that are not linked typically to farmers. So there's lost a lot of solidarity going on also as well. So far, there have been 2 national lockdown observed by farmers. They called it Bharat Bandh, which means literally lockdown, shutdown, complete shutdown of all public and private work in different states. And about 5 million people took part in these national lockdowns across 20,000 locations in all over the country. And now another lockdown is being planned on the 26th of March this month. So there is a material base for this whole situation in which farmers are right now. I mean, the situation of farmers is very grim for many decades. Farmers in India, typically they are very less land holding. They have very less land holding, around 2 to 4 hectares, less than that. About more than 80% of the farmers, they have the small land holding. And it's a report that in order to sustain yourself, you should have land holding more than 2 hectares, which you can see that vast majority of the farmers, they can barely make a living. And small events such as climate event or market price shock would devastate Indian farmers. And it's no surprise, colleagues, here that there are about 1,000 farmer suicides in India every month. So that's a shocking figure. And majority of the suicides are linked to the economic condition in which farmers are in India. I mean, farmers, they really have to buy the high-priced farm inputs. And majority of the inputs, they are all owned by multinational corporations in India at the moment. You talk about seeds, tractors, pesticides, fuel, you name it. And recently we see a skyrocketing of prices of all farmers' inputs. And honestly, farmers, they take loan to bear the cost of the inputs. And then you see the whole ecosystem, whole landscape of farmers. They are occupied by these loan sharks who are giving loans to farmers, and they are thriving by giving loans. And they are basically also the middlemen who are buying produce from the farmers and selling it to retail chains. The middlemen, they over the time have become loan sharks. They are giving loan, and all the farmers' families, they are indebted to these loan sharks. And also to a lot of banks. So whenever there is a farmer movement in India, the loan issue is at the forefront. And even now, of course, all the farmers are out to protest against the bills, but also, to fortify the farm loans and help or support from the government in terms of the loans. That's also a demand which is being put forward by farmers. And then we see that because of the inflation, food inflation after this COVID crisis and economic crisis following after that, the multinational corporation, they are now eyeing on food to make a lot of money out, and they're raking into agriculture sector in different countries, in developing countries. We see multinational corporations like Cargill, Monsanto, and all these kind of sorts. BASF, you name all these multinational corporations, they are now getting foothold on farms worldwide, and all the governments, the right-wing government, they are fully in support, whether it's right-wing or left-wing, whatever, whichever government is that. They are supporting, they are welcoming all these multinational corporations. And in India, it's also happening there because there is a myth that the large Indian businessmen, they have a kind of independent character, but they are not. They are only existing because of their strong partnership with all these multinationals. They are welcoming that. They are doing joint ventures, and even we see that during all these farmer protests, Ambani and Adani, they are the most hated person in the farmers movement. Who are they? They are the billionaires, Indian billionaires. They own like multitude of companies in India, and they are eyeing on large contracts, large farms, and that's the reason Modi government is making all this corporatization of the Indian agriculture for them, so that they can earn windfall profits. And then we see that what the government is doing is really bad. Of course, it's a right-wing government. What you can expect from that? Privatization. They are doing privatization left, right, and center everywhere, and giving benefits to their supporters and the businessmen there. But the opposition parties in India, they are doing also nothing. Only sound bites you get from them. The main parties, Congress, and other parties, National NCP, CPIM, all these parties, they actually are the one that brought the corporatization of Indian agriculture. So they brought all this privatization and the farm bills, APMC farm bills, during their tenure, and now they have no moral kind of base to actually support farmers, except that they are saying the way how these bills are passed in parliaments are wrong. We should reconsider passing it again or something like that, or make a softer version of the bill. But they are not attacking the main essence of this whole bill, which is the privatization, the whole agriculture of India. And then the role of parliament, you can see that it's totally hopeless in India. I mean, if somebody has any hope that this parliament in India will actually help farmers, they will not. We see that there are 11 rounds of talk between the farmers' leaders and the government, which failed. And government is just using these talks as a way to suffocate the movement, the farmer movement. So there's no hope with this parliament. And then there are reports that all this parliament is filled with thugs, murderers, rapists, gang leaders. And all the function of parliament is to transfer massive wealth, of public wealth, into private hands, which the Modi government is doing very, very efficiently at the moment. And it's no surprise during this pandemic period, there are reports that Indian billionaires, they increased their wealth by 34% during this pandemic period, which is very shocking in a country where you have almost the world highest level of poor and destitute people. And then we see that the whole structure of kind of decaying structure, the Supreme Court, the university, research institutions, they're not either helpful in all these farmer situation. Supreme Court is used also to put down the farmer movement, so that they can they bring in Supreme Court judges to diffuse the movement. But the farmers movement was so strong at the moment, and they just quell the whole plan of the government. And we see that they are bringing off and on different university professors, research institution heads, to actually, cook a lot of statistics, what they say, factoids, to actually present that, all the farmers are wrong in protesting. We will be very much better with these farm laws. They will open up the place for multinational corporation, and all farmers will be rich. So these are the narratives which are coming out from universities and research institutions. So even the intelligentsia, and they are not even helpful. Media is spewing hatred against farmers. They are branding them Pakistani infiltrators funded by Pakistan and China. They are saying they are Khalistani separatist. So Khalistani separatist, it's kind of a nationalist movement in Punjab. So they are linking them with them, that they are anti-state. But honestly, it's totally wrong what they are saying at the moment, because even Pakistan now, they are on the verge of social explosion in farmers. Farmers have announced tractor march towards the parliament. They are also protesting in Pakistan. The government in Pakistan is very, very much worried about this movement expanding from India to Pakistan. So it is in interest of Pakistani government and Chinese government that the farmers movement remain in India and perhaps can have a national character like Khalistani or this kind of thing. So that's why most of the time they are branded as a Khalistani separatist, and they are not actual farmers. But it's totally wrong. There are millions of them which are protesting and raising their voice. So for the farmer, it's not a battle for farm laws. Actually, these 3 farm laws, which are really very bad, is actually a battle for their survival. And we see over the time radicalization is building up. We see now new layers. The more oppression Modi government is putting on them, the more reaction are coming from the farmers community. Now we see new layers are entering into farmer struggle. Now they are raising the demand that the government should resign. And now we see government is again mobilizing their RSS, their BJP thugs to attack farmers left, right, and center. And we see that the whole might of state brutality in India. A lot of news, actually the whole news channels, the news media, they are properly controlled by the state, and it's very censored actually. And in a lot of places, they just turn off the internet so that nothing can come out from the protest site. Because right now, these farmers, they have occupied basically all the entry point of the capital Delhi. So they have stationed there in thousands and thousands of numbers, and they are saying we are not going back until our demands are met. All demands are met, which are like repeal. They are saying that these laws should be ended. But the Modi government is saying that no, we won't end the law, but you can negotiate on the details of the laws. So that's something which farmers, they are not buying into. And then it's very important at the moment, because now we see that this thing is prolonging, and in April we have this harvest. There is a major harvest coming up in April. Now the farmers are not backing out. Now they say that okay, now we all, because from day one, women are also part of the struggle proactively. We see that all the point where farmers are sitting across Delhi, there are women who are helping with men in the whole struggle. Now men will go back for harvest for the harvest happening in April, and the women will replace them. Now all the women, they are now occupying the whole input, the whole roads across Delhi where the sittings are going on. So they are also very active part. Women are also very active part of this whole struggle. And honestly, if we see that this situation about the privatization and corporatization of agriculture, it will not only damage farmers, because the corporation will directly deal with the farmers, and they will bypass all the support structures which the farmers have gained for many, many years of struggle. And in that case, farmers will be exploited to the worst levels, so pushing them into destitution. But also, these corporations will, increase the price of food. What we see here, when the laws are implemented in September and October, prices of a lot of fruits and vegetables increased from 50% to 100%. Price of essential items, which are like onions, potatoes, and all these, they suffered a historic increase in prices. So it's not a matter of only farmers; it's a matter of workers and communities also who are living there and just getting along day by day. Because there's statistics: 80% of the income of poor people in India, they spend on food, and if you have food inflation, that will just push them into extreme poverty and hunger, basically. So
Arsalan, you've had about 10 minutes now. Sorry.
okay, I will wrap up. So it's about time we will see a man-made famine in India. With a lot of reports are talking about these kind of things, and the only thing is that the way forward is the workers and farmers, they should unite together and go for an industrial action, a national strike, basically. But we see that workers, they went on national strike in September. 250 million workers went on strike for one day. We have one day strike of farmers, two one day strikes of farmers, as I said, national strike. And but I think the only way forward is workers and farmers to unite together and go for an indefinite general strike unless their demands are not met. So colleagues, I think through this platform, through Trade Council platform, if we can send a letter of solidarity, if we can show solidarity to Indian farmers and say them, okay, we are also standing with them, and also support their demand of workers and farmers joining together for an indefinite general strike, that would, I think, be very remarkable for their movement to actually gain a meaningful result, which is the repealing of all the agriculture laws which recently Modi government passed. Yeah, thank you.